Curly Howard, born Jerome Lester Horwitz in Brooklyn, emerged from a modest working-class Jewish family into a life that would ultimately define American slapstick comedy. Though overshadowed in childhood by his more assertive brothers, he possessed a natural gift for humor that would later captivate millions. Off-stage, he was reserved and introspective, but in performance, he became a whirlwind of energy, spontaneity, and comedic brilliance. Without formal acting training, he relied on instinct and impeccable timing, crafting a persona that felt both absurd and deeply human. His journey into entertainment was gradual, shaped by odd jobs and local performances that refined his physical comedy. This contrast between private vulnerability and public exuberance became a defining feature of his life. While audiences saw joy and laughter, the foundation of his success was built on emotional complexity, insecurity, and a relentless drive to entertain. Transformation into an icon, reinvention, sacrifice, and the birth of a comedic persona. Curly's entry into the Three Stooges in 1932 marked a turning point that required both personal and professional transformation. Replacing his brother, he stepped into an already established act, but quickly made the role his own. One of the most symbolic changes was his decision to shave his thick hair and mustache, a move encouraged to enhance the group's comedic image. Though reluctant, he embraced the look that would become iconic. His high-pitched voice, elastic expressions, and unforgettable catchphrases turned him into the centerpiece of the trio. This reinvention was not merely cosmetic. It represented a deeper willingness to sacrifice personal identity for performance. Audiences connected with his childlike innocence and chaotic unpredictability, unaware of the discipline and emotional cost behind it. His success during this era solidified his place in entertainment history, even as it began to blur the boundaries between the man he was and the character he portrayed. Golden years of comedy, creative triumphs, and the height of popularity. During the mid-1930s to mid-1940s, Curly reached the peak of his career, starring in nearly 100 short films that defined the golden age of slapstick comedy. His performances elevated simple physical gags into something more dynamic and imaginative. He was not just reacting to chaos, he was creating it, often improvising in ways that brought freshness to every scene. His ability to combine vulnerability with wild humor made him the emotional core of the trio. Fans adored his unpredictability, as he could shift from childlike innocence to explosive antics in seconds. These years brought fame, financial success, and cultural impact, yet they also intensified the pressures he faced. The demanding schedule, constant performances, and expectations of perfection began to take a toll. Behind the scenes, the effort required to sustain such energy was immense, laying the groundwork for the struggles that would soon follow. Personal relationships and emotional turmoil, searching for stability in a chaotic life. While Curly's professional life flourished, his personal relationships told a very different story. His first marriage was brief and troubled, setting a pattern of instability that would continue throughout his life. He often sought emotional connection quickly, driven by a need for affection and validation. His second marriage brought a moment of hope, especially with the birth of his daughter, but the pressures of fame and his erratic lifestyle strained the relationship. Divorce followed, leaving emotional scars that deepened his sense of loneliness. These experiences revealed a man who struggled to maintain balance outside the spotlight. His impulsiveness and vulnerability made lasting stability difficult. Despite moments of happiness, his relationships often ended in disappointment. This ongoing cycle of connection and loss contributed to a growing emotional burden, one that contrasted sharply with the joy he brought to audiences and highlighted the complexity of his inner world. Declining health and rising pressures, the physical cost of constant performance. As Curly entered the 1940s, the physical demands of his career began to catch up with him. Known for his intense slapstick routines, he frequently endured falls, collisions, and physically taxing performances that strained his body. At the same time, his weight fluctuated significantly, and he developed high blood pressure, both warning signs of deeper health issues. The relentless pace of filming and touring left little room for recovery. During wartime, live performances for troops added further exhaustion, requiring multiple shows under challenging conditions. These factors combined to weaken his overall health. Despite clear signs of decline, the expectation to continue performing remained constant. His body, once the source of his comedic genius, was gradually breaking down, yet he persisted, driven by professional commitment and external pressure. even as the toll became increasingly evident to those around him. Excess, escapism, and financial instability, coping mechanisms that worsened the strain off stage. Curly often turned to indulgence as a way to cope with stress and exhaustion. Nightlife, alcohol, and lavish spending became regular parts of his routine. While he adhered to strict rules during performances, his personal time was marked by excess. He spent money freely on luxury items, gifts, and impulsive investments, rarely considering long-term consequences. This behavior brought him close to financial trouble more than once. His brother stepped in to help manage his finances, providing structure where there was little discipline. Despite these efforts, Curly's habits reflected deeper struggles. His actions were not merely reckless but indicative of someone attempting to escape internal turmoil. The combination of physical exhaustion, emotional instability, and financial mismanagement created a cycle that was difficult to break. These patterns further complicated his life, adding layers of stress to an already demanding career. A gentle side revealed: compassion, animals, and moments of genuine kindness. Amid the chaos of his personal and professional life, Curly's compassion stood out as a defining trait. He had a deep love for animals, especially dogs, often rescuing strays and caring for them during his travels. These acts of kindness provided a sense of comfort and stability that was otherwise missing from his life. He formed strong bonds with these animals, seeing in them a source of unconditional affection. This softer side revealed a nurturing and empathetic personality, one that contrasted sharply with his on-screen antics. His interactions with animals highlighted his desire for connection and his capacity for generosity. These moments offered glimpses of who he was beyond the spotlight, a man capable of great tenderness despite the turmoil surrounding him. They also underscored the complexity of his character, reminding those around him that beneath the humor was a deeply feeling individual. Marriage, breakdown, and public scrutiny, a painful turning point. Curly's third marriage began with hope but quickly descended into conflict. Entered into impulsively, the relationship was marked by arguments and incompatibility. The rapid deterioration of the marriage led to a highly publicized divorce that exposed his personal struggles to the world. Media coverage painted him as unstable, amplifying the emotional toll he was already experiencing. This period proved to be a critical turning point. The stress of the relationship and its collapse coincided with a dramatic decline in his health. His ability to cope diminished, and the pressures he faced became overwhelming. The public nature of the breakup intensified his sense of vulnerability. Rather than finding stability, he encountered further instability, both emotionally and physically. This chapter of his life illustrated how personal turmoil and public scrutiny can intersect, creating a situation that accelerates decline and leaves lasting consequences. The stroke that changed everything. A sudden end to a brilliant career. In 1946, Curly suffered a massive stroke that abruptly ended his career. The event occurred during filming, shocking colleagues and fans alike. What many did not realize at the time was that this was not an isolated incident. He had likely experienced smaller warning strokes in the years leading up to it. These signs had gone unrecognized or were dismissed, allowing his condition to worsen. The stroke left him unable to perform at the level required for his work, effectively ending his role in the act that defined him. This moment marked a dramatic shift from fame and activity to uncertainty and decline. It also highlighted the lack of medical understanding and support available at the time. The sudden loss of his career was not just a professional setback but a deeply personal blow, removing a central part of his identity and leaving him to face an uncertain future. Neglect within the industry. The hidden costs of entertainment success. Behind the scenes, the entertainment industry's response to Curly's condition revealed troubling priorities. Rather than prioritizing his health, there was pressure to continue working for as long as possible. Concerns about maintaining success overshadowed the need for rest and recovery. This approach reflected a broader pattern within the industry, where performers were often treated as expendable. Attempts to conceal his condition further delayed proper care. While those close to him advocated for his well-being, their influence was limited. The lack of sustained support contributed to the severity of his decline. This aspect of his story raises important questions about how entertainers are treated and the responsibilities of those who profit from their work. Curly's experience serves as a stark reminder of the human cost behind entertainment, emphasizing that success often comes with sacrifices that are not always visible to the public. Final years and lasting relationships. Finding some peace amid decline. After his stroke, Curly's life changed dramatically. He spent his remaining years moving between care facilities and family homes, struggling with the effects of his condition. Despite these challenges, he found a measure of stability in his final marriage. This relationship provided support and companionship during a difficult time. The birth of his daughter brought moments of joy and purpose, even as his health continued to deteriorate. These years were marked by both hardship and glimpses of peace. Though no longer the vibrant performer audiences remembered, he remained connected to those who cared for him. His final chapter was quieter but not without meaning. It reflected resilience and the enduring importance of human connection. Even as his abilities declined, the relationships he maintained offered comfort and a sense of belonging that had often eluded him earlier in life. Revisiting the mystery, mental health, legacy, and a more honest understanding. Recent insights into Curly's life have shed new light on the factors behind his decline. What was once seen as simple physical deterioration is now understood as a complex interplay of health issues, emotional